Good afternoon, everybody. I can see that some people are still joining us and will continue to do so for a couple of minutes. But thank you very much to everybody who's already joined us this afternoon. I'm going to kick off with some opening words before we hand over to our speakers. So I would first of all like to extend the warmest of virtual welcomes to everybody today. As many of you will be aware, we had hoped to see everybody back in April in person with our annual UK Spine Conference in Birmingham. However, 2020 had many other plans for us, and we simply had so much that we've been up to and that is happening in this field that we didn't want to wait until 2021 to tell you all about it. So we join you today with our opening session of what has become a virtual conference series. And here I have to say a huge thank you to Brian, Vicky, and all of the UK Spine team behind the scenes who have helped make this possible. Today we kick off with our session on animal models for aging, but it forms part of what is a number of sessions over the next 10 days, completing on the 20th of November with our capstone panel discussion. I'm so pleased to welcome back some familiar faces, many of whom will be in the audience today or speaking over the next few days, but also to new faces who we don't know at UK Spine yet. Thank you very much for giving up the time to join us virtually and tune in. We hope that all of the sessions that you listen to will be informative and engaging. And if we don't know you yet, we look forward to getting to know you after the conference. So, as I said, we're joined by some of our familiar faces and some of our new faces over the next few days. But what I'd like to do today is just introduce those of you who aren't familiar with the UK Spine to the work that we're doing in UK Spine. And those of you well aware of it, please sit back and enjoy the next couple of minutes. So the UK Spine is a consortium funded by Research England, and we are one of 18 connecting capability funds. We were formed back in April 2018. And we are quite literally, we form a spine, a backbone down the UK with our core partners. So our core partners, when we first started and remain our core partners, map a spine from Scotland down to the southeast of England. We are led by the University of Oxford, where under normal times I reside. Our southeastern partner is the Crick Institute in London. We also have the University of Birmingham and Health Partners, the Medicines Discovery Catapult, and the Dundee University and Dundee Drug Discovery Institute. And as our spine, we map everything from the earliest stage in drug discovery through to early stage clinical trials. And this is represented through the expertise that each of our core hubs have. We've chosen to work on the exemplar of healthy aging, and we've chosen to look at how we can improve and extend health span by treating underlying conditions that we all acquire as we age with new therapeutics and new innovations. Since we opened for business back in 2018, we've had a number of funding competitions and worked on a number of new collaborations, and we're really keen to have new academic and other collaborators across the UK, including Newcastle, Sheffield, Nottingham, Warwick, Sussex. And as a knowledge exchange consortium, we see that the UK is excellent at delivering research, and we have many centres of excellence, and often what happens is this knowledge remains within those centres. So our role is to form the synapses within that spine and out with to exchange that knowledge that's created, to disseminate it, to transfer it, to adopt it. And that's what we've been all about. But what we recognise is that now we understand the national picture, we're trying to solve a problem which is an international and global problem. So as we look to the future of UK Spine, we've started to work with other organisations, such as universities in Israel, including Tel Aviv, universities in New Zealand with Auckland, Shionogi, a pharma partner in Japan, companies such as SomaLogics, who often offer innovative screening platforms for proteomics. So we're really happy to talk to you about many of these advances over the next week and a little bit. Overall, our goal, as I said, is looking to create a community of researchers, carers, funders, entrepreneurs, patients, underpinning this shared goal of providing an additional 5 years of healthy life to every individual within the United Kingdom by 2035. But how do we do that? We've got streams that we use. We've funded and worked with a range of scientific projects since we got up and running. Within that portfolio, our proof of concept projects have made posters, e-posters, to replace the physical posters we'd hoped for. And these are all online. So if you're interested in what work is actually ongoing in the spine, please do go to our conference website and click on the e-poster link, where you'll not just see a poster, you'll also hear narration from the leads on the projects about what their work encompasses. We also work on the knowledge exchange and the formation of that knowledge with our knowledge exchange portfolio, which includes networking events, patient focus groups, of which we have one during this conference, looking at novel ways of capturing knowledge and actually measuring the success of our work. And we also build networks, which is part and parcel of why we're all here today. So thank you. One of the examples of our scientific projects I'd just like to highlight today is what we call one of our flagship programs, where we are working with members across the UK and also worldwide now, looking at exploring a low-cost drug for treating multiple morbidities or underlying long-term conditions associated with aging. And the drug that this project focuses on is bisphosphonates, which have been used for over 5 decades to treat osteoporosis and bone fractures. In fact, I'm sure many of you in the audience will be well familiar with those compounds. They're generic, they're low cost, and they've been given to millions of patients worldwide. One of the real positives is that some of the bisphosphonates need only be administered via a single injection every 12 to 18 months. New clinical advances in bisphosphonates and studies have shown that people taking bisphosphonates often show a reduced incidence of stroke, cardiovascular events, and cancer. Preclinical work suggests extension in lifespan and the effects of these drugs away from the skeleton, away from the bone, in non-skeletal tissues. So we are working with experts in the universities of Oxford and Sheffield and Auckland to look and understand this basis better. We're looking at the non-skeletal effects, those unexpected effects, and we're looking at biomarker signatures, or the group are looking at biomarker signatures to help us understand what healthy aging really looks like. And if you're interested in this project, we've got more information about it on our website in the case studies section. So that's just to highlight some of the work that we've been doing, and there are many more things that we'll be talking about and telling you about via our website. So we open today with our animal models for aging. Then tomorrow we've a session, a bespoke session with some of the 1,000 elders that work with Janet Lord in Birmingham to look at what's important to us and to those who are actually going to be, we are all going to be the end users of some of these innovations. We have a biomarkers workshop looking at how they can be used in the prediction of multimorbidity with Carl Hennigan and Gary Ford on Friday. And next Wednesday, we have an excellent lineup for a session looking at from bench to care home in a time of COVID and how immunosenescence can be looked at and promoted to help with the response to COVID. And that will be led by Janet Lord and Lynn Cox and Joe Manick of Restore Bio. And I'm delighted to say that Lynn and Janet have had an article published in The Lancet this week all about that topic. And we'll wrap up with a keystone panel session next Friday, chaired by Martino Picardo, joined by our leader Chaz Bountra, Glenn Wells, Joanne and Julie Brady, to wrap up everything we've been talking about here and think about how we set these innovations in the context of the government challenge to achieve 5 extra healthy years of life. And if you haven't heard enough, we'd love to see you next year. We really hope to be able to welcome you all to Oxford in the spring and the summer. We may need to do some of that online, but we will wait and see. We've got many projects that are going to deliver really exciting data over the coming months. So please do come back and hear more and keep in touch with us. So, moving on to the housekeeping that I've been told I absolutely must cover with you. For everybody who's joined, thank you very much. I already see that you've turned your cameras off and you've muted your microphones. Please do keep it that way during our sessions. As you think of those great questions to ask our panel, please pop the questions in the box and we'll be taking the questions at the end of both the presentations today. Just to let you know, we'll be recording those panel discussions today for those people who can't join us live online. So if for any reason you don't want to show your face, but you do want to ask a question, feel free just to write it in the Zoom and just to keep those cameras off and those microphones muted.